think there's another word. Aboriginal.
Natives. Natives.
Not native, but I do remember there's another word that just slipped out of my mind. So there's another word. Yeah, please find out for me. So Kano is the local, I think that's the local place, the Aboriginal language. So Luye has been decreasing, the population there has been decreasing by year. I think this is no surprising because as you can see in many countrysides, this is just a very normal situation. People moving out, and then no young people staying there or getting married or having children. So you can see that from 1981, there was 13,000 people, and then to 2018, there was only 7,000. So that is a lot. People, a lot of number decreasing. So you can see the line here, the chart here. What happens if when people, there's no, when this problem occurs, what happens when this problem occurs? What would be the problems if the population there was decreasing? What would be the problem? So, what do you think? Since we have so few students, everyone will have a lot of chance to speak. You just come in and you will have the right to answer the question. So, what would be the problem since now the population is decreasing? What would be the problem when there's the problem of decreasing population? Are you in the same group? Okay, good. Go ahead. Everyone think about your answer, okay? Because we'll try to speak English as often as possible. It's also a very, very good practice for you. The price of the maybe the daily needs or daily necessity is increasing. Why is the price is going up? I don't get the point. Like now we have fewer people. Why the cost will be rising? 为什么人口变少会价格上涨？没有钱去养小孩 ，they don't have money to raise children, but that's another issue. So maybe think about it. I'll come back to you, okay? Because I don't see your logic. I need you to tell me the logic. Why? And if we have fewer population, fewer people there, and what could be the province? Fewer people, then what could be the province? What kind of province will be lost?
No work.
Yeah, probably there's no work, no people working probably. Okay, that's one point. How about you?
Maybe academic will also decrease because the cash flow can decrease also.
What can also decrease?
Like the cash flow inside of the business. The
Sorry?
cash flow.
The what?
Cash flow.
The
Cash flow.
Cash flow.
cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay, cash flow will also decrease, right? Because so many people are buying and selling, so the cash flow will also decrease. Thank you for the key term, cash flow. 现金的流动，资金的流动也会减低到 cash flow. And what can be the problem? The TAs also need to give answers, okay? What can be the problem when the population there is decreasing? 好，你想一下，那先 Chris 先讲，Chris 要自己看自己。What might be the province? First, is decreasing. Now so many people are working, but then still people need everything. And then they probably need to rely on machines, but then probably in the countryside, since the young people move out, then only older generation stay there. Then probably the older generation, the elderly people do not know how to use the new technology, so that can cause some other problems. So what do you think?
I think this place doesn't have enough resource for people to work or life. Like airport, the Canton doesn't have enough 7 for people to buy something.
It didn't have enough what?
7-Eleven.
7-Elevens, right? Because
The convenience store.
right, it's not that convenient because the population is so small.
Yeah.
Then of course the convenience stores wouldn't be that many. Otherwise they won't be able to survive there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's go back to you. So what do you think? The same question. Because I didn't get your logic, so yeah, kind of, especially in this place, if the population is decreasing, then what could be the problems that are caused? Go to the big cities and only coming back on the weekend. So that leaves the older people and also children without being taken good care of. So I think that's a very good point. So move on. Then we talk about what they are doing there because they saw the problem that the population is decreasing. So they are trying to promote this area so that people would like to come over. And then they are kind of seeing or checking or examining what kind of resources or what kind of good things or specialty that they can offer. So you can see that they have this deer park, and also they are trying to collaborate by working with agricultural and also by working with the processing factories. And then they have this very famous event that is called the Hot Air Balloon Festival. If you have seen the news or read about it, you probably will see the very beautiful pictures of this hot air balloons. And then also they have this special agricultural product that is the canola tea. Okay, please go to the next page. And then let's take a look at the deer park. Why don't you just take a look at all the sentences here? So later I can ask you questions. What do you think of this idea that they have this deer park? Just tell me what key facts you found there by reading this slide. Just tell me what key factors have you found. You just mention any key factors that you noticed by looking at this special slide to you when you read this slide.
Tourist attraction.
Huh?
It became a tourist attraction.
Yeah, it has become a tourism attraction. Do you think that it work? It can work that way? Why don't you use the microphone?
I think it would have a benefit to the town that they would have a tourist attraction that all of the local people would encourage them to go there because not many Taiwanese can go to Japan because this deer is similar to the deer in Japan. So
Yes.
by looking at it, so it's how do you say? It's not extinct, but it's a little bit different animals
Right.
that you can see here.
Yeah, right. 梅花鹿，梅花鹿 is the 原生种吧，是吧？梅花鹿 is the local animal here in Taiwan. But then because they are also disappearing
Yeah.
because people, the modern world, they
Human
are
hunting.
disappearing. So I think that's a good way to bring them back, and definitely that would help. Kano becomes a tourism attraction, famous tourism attraction. Yeah. Pass the microphone. So what else do you find here? The most prominent thing coming to you.
Taiwan's
Now, yeah. What about that? Have you been to Nara? 有去过吗？奈良
No.
No. So what do you think of this?
Because可以讲中文吗？
现在中文讲一遍。
就是他们想要跟日本，就想打造日本的那个他们特殊的景点，
Right.
然后重新打造这个地方，
Yes.
用他们原本的特色这样。
That's very good. So I think they're kind of learning from the Japanese experience. They learn from the Nara Park, And then, but also they are using their own specialty. I mean, the local deer, the local animal there. So I think that's a good way to combine from the factors from Japan, also the original factor. Okay, very good point. How about you?
I noticed in the Luya Township kindergarten. So I guess it's a really good idea to put a 3-hectare Sika Deer Park behind the kindergarten. So maybe it will be like an attraction for
Yes.
people to
Right.
put their child in there.
Right. So if it were you, then would you think of going just because of the park, the deer park?
Well, might be because it's a really rare animals in there.
Right. It depends on if you are an animal lover.
Yeah,
Are you?
no.
Okay, not exactly. Okay, I'll be 你觉得有什么很特殊地方？他们刚刚都各自讲了嘛，就是 it will become a tourism attraction, or that's a good way to have the park, especially by combining the Japanese experience and the local animal there. So, what comes to you when you just read this GPT? "先用中文讲一遍，再用英文都可以。重点要思考，你也是哦，赶快哦。每个人反正我会不停的问问题哦。
你看把鹿野变成以前鹿野的样子，就是到处都有鹿的样子。
鹿野照理来说以前是到处都有鹿，所以才会叫鹿野。
就是因为
对
这种鹿。
对。Yeah, I think that's a very good point, right? They try to bring back, yes, the good old days, right? They try to bring back the good old days. That's good. Very good point. What do you think? Yeah. What is special? Deer is special. So there's no panda, there's no rabbit, but deer is okay. Okay. That can do. You are.
This plan is only government to support this plan, and in this slide I don't think the local people or residents to support this plan.
That's very good point. I actually noticed that too. This one. You see, actually they got the money from the government. Without the government help, this wouldn't have worked. So maybe local industry could contribute, but then because the people are moving out, then I don't think there are a lot of local industry there, especially successful local industries. So it has to rely on the government. And that's why you remember that when we talk about the 5 arrows of regional revitalization, 我们之前有谈说地方创生的5支箭。So you have to combine everything, you have to integrate everything, including the government resources. That is also important. Right now they have to rely on the government, but once the park becomes very successful, they can just win a lot of money, earn a lot of money by selling the tickets. And then until then when that time comes, they don't have to rely on the government anymore. Okay, but then right now, then they have to do this. And also I think that's not just for, that's not just for the tourism, and also it can be a educational area. Right? There's so much to learn to learn about the sustainable environment, to learn about how to live peacefully with animals, to learn about how to preserve our natural resources so that the animals can have a safe place to live in. So also they can do the environmental education. Okay. Then another way another strategy they're trying to adopt is that they try to, the local agricultural and also the processing factories are trying to work together with each other. So why don't you look at or read the Chinese or English version? The Nonghui has to start doing something, like using all these techniques, so that can help the farmers to sell their pineapples. Okay, the next page. Then let's talk about Hot Air Balloon Festival. Take a look at this and say something about this slide. It can be anything, okay? It can be like, oh, I hope that someday I can go there to ride on the hot air balloon. Just anything. Okay, this time we start with Ewan.
那我想听。
Yeah, go ahead.
This event is a chance very people to
Go
visit
there.
the tunnel.
Tunnel, yes.
But in this picture, I see the SpongeBob SquarePants. The copyright, maybe we have to kill this. The copyright.
COVID-19?
Copyright.
I don't know. I don't know if they've got the copyrights. Because I think the government, the local government, Taiwan, the county government is behind this. So they might have some kind of contract with, I don't know, because, yes, I think you're right. You have to be very careful, especially when you are using some pictures or images or logos, and then you have to be very careful about that. Okay, good point.
造型
Yeah.
改成跟路有相关的东西。
用英文说一遍就可以了。Try to change 造型可以用 appearance 外形的 appearance. Try to change the appearance.
Yeah, they should try to change the appearance of this local country. Yeah, don't use the cartoon.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I think that's a very good point, right? Try to change the appearance of the higher balloons and try to bring in more features of this place, tunnel. So what can be the appearance of this hot air balloons if they have to be? Maybe some beer, or maybe some rice, or tea, because they are selling the tea, right? The tea leaves. Okay, very good point. How about you?
I really like this because we have this in the Philippines before, and I attended like thrice, 4 times already. So
Where did you have the rice?
no, I tried it in the Philippines.
Oh, in the Philippines.
We have an event like this. the
Okay,
same.
okay, good.
So I went there like 4 times already.
To watch.
To watch and to ride.
Also to ride.
Yeah, but just only just up and just go down.
Okay, not like flying
No, no,
away.
no, no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really fun, especially during the night because when you can ride.
The lights.
Actually, you can ride the hot air balloon twice in a day. One early in the morning and one in the later afternoon.
Okay. I think it depends on the currents.
And also
Yeah.
it depends on the current of the air and the wind.
Yeah.
And most especially when during the nighttime they would have special lighting, special light sculpture or
Yes.
concert.
Yes.
Then they would have fireworks everywhere and
Yeah,
during
they
the
have
night.
fireworks too.
Yeah. So I think it's really fun to go there in the festival
Right.
events because
That would be very exciting experience.
also because they also introduce some concerts, some famous bands would go there, so they would gather a lot of tourists to attract to their
Yeah.
going to them.
So it's not just about the ride.
Yeah.
It can be a lot of things
Yes.
coming together.
Yes.
Okay, good. Very good. Thank you. You probably are the only one that has been to such kind of event.
Yeah, because it's cheap in the Philippines. It's like 200 NTD.
280 only?
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. I don't know how much it costs here, but then I've never
Around
been there.
800, 1,000.
800?
It's
Maybe
okay.
we should go to the Philippines. Okay, go on.
I see this hot air balloon festival, and it is very lively in Taiwan.
paid attention to this kind of news? Like, did you ever think that you would like to go there sometime? 有想过要去吗？
no.
Why not? Also too tiring? Too much travel?
Yeah, tired.
Too tiring? You also enjoy watching video at home?
Computer.
A computer? Okay. Okay. How about you?
I guess this hot air balloon festival is really good event because I haven't seen my friends post in IG and all went to this place, and I saw a lot of those balloons were like accompanying mascots. For instance, like PXMart, Trinidad, they also make their own balloons and they flew there. And I guess they must be like paying some money to the government for this.
Yes.
So it's like a sponsorship,
Yes.
and they also get like the impact from that. Like they can get the marketing from there.
Yeah.
And I guess it's really like really good for both sides, for the government and the company.
Yeah.
So I guess this other balloon is really good.
Right. I think that's also, it's just as you said, I think that's kind of helping the local government to promote their image too. Yeah. So when people now think of Taitung or especially Kano, they're thinking that, oh, it's a colorful place. Okay. And also, if they are trying to make the hot air balloons there, then the local people are making money too. I don't know if they are making the balloons there or they are imported from other countries, but I think that would be a much better idea to try to produce the hot air balloons just there in the local community. Okay, the next page. The tea.
If I remember, like the plant of the tea is really easy to cultivate. Actually, before I ever went to a tea farm before, and I saw
Here in Taiwan.
Oh,
Tea
in
farm.
Indonesia, Indonesia, and it's not that hard to cultivate the tea. And I saw in this picture that it has a really big area of the farm, and if I see there, it can generate around hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
Well, that's really big amount of money,
Yes.
and I guess it can boost the local economy.
Yeah, right. So I think they are trying to set a place here. Let me see. The township offices. Set up the William Cultural Industry Creation Hall, like industry creation weeks. So they're also trying to promote. It's not just about the agriculture or trying about production of the tea. It can also become a tourism, scenic spot that way. Okay, pass the microphone.
I see. Kano tea. He new year, very oolong tea.
Yes.
He can he has building for the trademark.
Mm-hmm. Trademark.
No logo.
Yeah.
Sales and building money.
Right. And then once it becomes a famous trademark, then people would like to buy the Kano tea, even without being there. They can still buy the tea from the internet. So it's important to build up the local brand. How about you?
I think hello.
Yeah.
I think for this one, Kano tea, because there's a lot of brands or teas here in Taiwan, they are most famous for. So I think they can have a competition, and then like not a competition, like they can
The farmers are having competition.
yeah, with other teas as well. Like
Yes.
for
yeah.
in Alishan, they have a great
yeah,
tea.
Yeah,
In Nanto, they have a great tea as well that tasted.
yeah. Or Ryutan.
Yes. So I think it would have a huge impact in the local community as well, because they can give such a jobs
Mm-hmm.
for picking teas. I think this one is hard to do it, right? Is it easy or hard?
So one is very easy, but
To collect the tea leaves or to burn them to
just to like
to make it
process it. to
the
make it-
process.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
make
difficult.
The tea is
Drink,
difficult.
drinkable, yes.
Okay.
So it's difficult. So I think also they can generate as well. They can import or export their tea from outside
Yeah.
countries, because I can see from like when I went to Singapore and other places in Malaysia as well, like I can see a lot of Taiwanese brand are there, Taiwanese tea are there. I said,
Yes.
okay, wow.
Yeah, yeah. I think they because I'm not a tea expert, but I do know that they're having competition, the tea competition, maybe every year around Taiwan. But then, and I'm not sure about the Kanong tea, like how many people that there are working on the farm. And if there are a lot of people working, and then definitely they're trying to create some famous tea, famous kind of tea, and then if they win the prize in the competition, then that definitely will make them become very famous. So they can easily sell to not just around Taiwan, but also to the global market. Okay, good point.
别的茶，我听都没听过，所以他们
Never heard about it.
呀，所以他们要再努力一点。
Yeah, I think they need to work harder, just as we just discussed, right? So, but I think the government is trying so hard, especially the local government. You probably see that all this you can see that the government, the local government, the local community is working so hard because it's such a small countryside. Maybe the population is small too. And then they do need to rely on the government, the official resource. Otherwise, it won't be working. But then I think that's only for the beginning stage. Maybe later, if all this work out, then they can just become successful. And that's a good point. So if they need to, just as he said, they need to work harder. Okay, good point. How about you, Ewan?
I drink the black tea more than oolong tea. I
Okay.
very like the black tea.
Black tea is much better for you.
Yeah, but I see they are not special, but there is they just simply for kind of in the future maybe,
Right, maybe.
and in they using the oolong to extend more different way to attract people to drink the Luye red oolong tea. So I think this content is very smart, but I think they are very work hard.
Yeah, they really.
They need to work on.
You all make one very good point. That is, how can you stand out among all these tea brands or all these areas that grow tea trees? So this past winter, I went to Japan and we went to a place which is also famous for their local revitalization action. And then we went to a tea farm. They had a special 仪式 ritual. They have special ritual, 是吧？仪式是叫 ritual 吗 ？Okay. They have special ritual there. We all sit there on the mat. We all sit on the mat, and then it's in the middle of the mountain, somewhere in the mountain. And then we drink the tea. Actually, the tea, I couldn't tell the difference from all the other teas. I really didn't think it was much better than all the other tea. But I enjoy staying there, having the tea because of the atmosphere. because all that beautiful scenery, you sit there and then you watch the views of the mountains, and then you feel that this tea farmer, they are dressing very formally, and then they are pouring the tea for you very slowly and elegantly. That makes the tea special. So what my point is that sometimes it's not about the quality of the tea, but it's about some other things. Like here, the Kano tea, they're trying to make it special. Then maybe not just emphasize on the quality, but then they may need to find some other things that attract people to drink the tea, or the Kano community is trying to do. Then still, they're facing some difficulties. They're having some problems. The first one is that although the hot air balloon festival is very successful, but the other side of it, or the 副作用, the side effect is that there are just too many people. Because it's such a small community, how about the traffic there? How about the accommodation there, or even the meals? Can they afford to have so many people coming in at the same time? So that would be one problem, cost, because of this special event. Another problem is that, just as we said, and because there are so many different kinds of tea, especially we have imported tea from the mainland China, from Vietnam, and then, when people work at tea, it has to be by manual. Please come in. You don't use machines to collect the tea leaves. I remember I went to the tea farm one day here in Taiwan, and then I saw one tea farmer was working there. So we asked him if he used a machine to collect the tea leaves. He said no. They have still do it manually, just by hand. So, but then there are not so many people living there, especially young people. Young people do not want to stay in the countryside to do this kind of work. They want to stay in the big cities to enjoy the air conditioning, watch videos, so playing computer games. So they won't be devoted to this industry. So they need to work on the machines, or they need to find some people to join. And then another problem is that now they are using the techniques or the machines to improve the quality of the dried, pineapple, yeah, to make the dried pineapple, but then they don't find a market to sell. I think this is just the case with a lot of agricultural products here in Taiwan. In the past, we sold our products to the mainland China. That would be the major market for us, for the Taiwanese farmers, and also for fishermen. But then, because of the political issues, sometimes they just ban. They don't want us to export our agricultural products or aquatic products there. So although the food that we create is so good, still we don't have the market to buy them. So that would be another problem. Okay, so that's the problem that we're facing now. And then also there are good things. First of all, it has an international event. A lot of people coming by, and even we have the competition. And then for the Taichung County government, definitely, just as we said, it's good promotion. And then because they are working, the factories are working with each other, also the local farmers are working with each other, so that helps to bring in more money. And the deer park is a good thing, as we said, it's a very good tourism attraction, and then people don't have to go to Japan and enjoy going there to people enjoy going there and to have some contact with the deer in person. Okay, all these are the good things. I think that's all about it. Okay, so what have we learned from this example? Hot air balloons festival, and also by selling their tea or by building up a deer park. But then also they are having some bad influences or they're facing some problems, but then they are also gaining something. So what do we learn from this example? Would you like to get started since you have the microphone up there?
I think that they have to they have to work hard to make more people to know kind of what is in this place and people we can play in what we can play in this place and for example just like the Canon tea they nobody know this
We don't
this
know
tea
about this tea,
yeah.
right? We do know about the hot air balloon festival, but then we know nothing about the tea.
Yeah.
Okay, so they need to think of some other things that
Yeah.
for people to do there,
Or,
okay, or buy there. Okay.
or just wasting the money.
Okay, to spend money there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Alright, what do you think?
这讲这个地方
What do we learn from this example? But that's not we learn from it. Okay, that's something you probably will do, right?
Yeah.
After learning about this
Mm.
special case, so you think, okay, maybe someday you can go there and ride in the hot air balloon.
这是他们的目标。
Okay, so you are kind of attracted, right? This is
Yeah.
after you know about this. Okay, okay, that will do. Do you want to share? Can you share something? No, not yet. Okay, that's okay. Chris.
So I think the one thing that I learned here is they have a lot of potential in creating their business, creating their own local brands. But the downside is you need to have a sustainable product that they would have. It correlates that they would have a higher rate that they can surpass any economic downfall with them.
You mean that they have to try to find out some other ways
Yes.
to earn more money so
Yes.
that they can.
Maybe they
Okay.
can put like a water park or maybe something.
Water park?
Yeah. A museum or what
That would be
else?
more money.
Ocean
Supported
museum.
by the government.
Yeah, supported by the government.
Ocean. Is it close to the ocean? No, I don't think. I think it's
Or
in the
maybe
mountain.
in the mountain, like any
Okay.
kind of stuff like
Okay,
that.
okay. So probably they need to come up with some other things, and big things. Just like Ewan said, they need to also create some other things for people to do or to buy there. Okay.
And then he created new called Kano tea.
Uh-huh.
You can sell more tea and much money.
Mm-hmm. Try to sell more tea. Maybe you have some sugar. No, I'm just joking. Kevin, please.
So maybe almost the same. I guess their Gano's tea can be like the taste can be adjusted to be more suitable for the Taiwanese or maybe to the foreign consumer,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can boost their sellings or maybe their marketings.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, on the one hand, they have to be local, but on the other hand, they probably need to create some new things to add to the flavor, either flavor of the tea or to make the tea become something different. Okay, good. Back to Hong Qi. What do you learn here? 学到什么？
And when this is a good idea because this idea is for business
Say that again, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. One more time, sorry.
I don't think this actually is not a good idea
This is not a good idea.
because this all is for physical.
So what can they do if this is not a good idea? Do they just wait and die? What can they do?
But those this actually is for physical, so
For what? For visitors only.
yeah, so can get more people living.
So they need to some more ideas to get more people come. OK， 希望吸引更多人来，是这个意思吗？
来继续来。
住下来 to attract more people. I think that's a very good point. Actually, when we talk about regional revitalization, we do need people, especially young people. So if you look at this, this actually is for another course, but then when we talk about this, just occurred to me that this is very good. We can just take a look at. For my another course, we're talking about how to build the local brand. And if you take a look at the example we have here, the Kano, either Kano Tea or maybe the Deer Park, I think what they're trying to do is that to build or to set up their local brand. But then, if we want to set up or build our local brand, there are several things that we need to consider. The first one is that there have to be something that you want to buy, just as you all mentioned, okay? If we go there, except in addition to the tea, what else can we buy there? We want to spend money there, but what can we buy? So there has to be something there, make people impressed and would like to buy. And then also they need to know what they can do there. In addition to taking the ride, the hot air balloon ride, what else can they do? And also, can they live there? The young people, can they stay here, as Hong Chi just mentioned? Can they stay there and try to stay for a longer time, not just for a 3-day visit? And then, this is not about eating something. This is about how to promote their local brand. So it depends on the language, I mean the words, the description, the description or the image, everything that makes people feel this is a fun place. I want to go there. I want to spend money there because it is an interesting place to go or to buy things. So all of this will help. So I think for the Kano community, indeed they still have a lot of things to do. But then we do think that they are already bringing a lot of visitors for the hot air balloon festival, but then they need to come up with some other things when there's no such event, because the event will only be held in the summertime, I think. In the wintertime, I don't think they can do it.
The air is too thin.
Right, yeah. So then in the wintertime, what can people do there? They need to think about this. Okay, and now we're
So good afternoon. So my presentation would be, my case would be is from Guangshan Township and from Taitung.
Taitung.
So with this background, they have a background that even though the area have a rich natural resources with agriculture and tourism, serving as its primary businesses, the most pressing problems for the community's sustainable growth are substantial population loss and aging. So it's almost the same with other township and other the case before. So yeah, they have all natural resources. Like they have a huge amount of land. They can plant anything there. They can plant wheat. They can plant for the rice and everything. But yeah, surprisingly that they have a population loss. So most of the young people there, they go to the urban areas. They can get their education, they can jobs for high-paying jobs. So the difficulties they encountered is their sustainable growth. So it means that if you don't have any sustainable growth or anything that inside the community, it will fall down. It will crash down even for the economy, the social, and the other aspect here. So yeah, I will illustrate this one. So the causes affecting the sustainable growth of the Guangshan community are outlined, including issues faced by operators returning to their hometowns. So the support and the attractiveness of the applicable policies for local sustainable operations and obstacles experienced by operators. So they establish a lot of rules, or they establish a lot of laws that a lot of people who wants to go back, they cannot operate here. So the solution they had is they did this interview with local people in Wanshan community in a to influence they have their local sustainable growth. So by creating non-toxic agriculture, by encouraging packaging that use less plastic, that's one most important part for the environmental aspect, and promoting food and agricultural education, creating varied platforms such as the internet that we have right now, the huge amount of the technology we have right now, and enticing youth to return. So due to the fact that fostering sustainable communities and boosting local economic vibrancy, it enables the regional revitalization vision and goal to be realized. So here, they made a study that in Wanshan community, they have a lot of resources that they can use, but they lack the power or the labor that they can use it. So they have the opportunity, or they have the possibility that they can create something there, but they cannot because they don't have enough people to create that sustainable growth. So I narrowed it down in 3 aspects. So I took it in academic side here so I took it in 3 aspects so that would benefit their benefit in the community. So the 3 aspects were the economic aspect, environmental aspect, and the social aspect. So in the economic aspect, so the connotation, they need to revitalize local industries. So for example, they need to have a local brand, to build a local brand. To sustainable use of resources, they need to promote reduced plastic packaging. And the other one is the lowest environmental damage caused by resource utilization, because they have a lot of resources, so they cannot utilize it so much. So the damage would not hurt their community. So even a lot of places here, we also, if we have a lot of resources and a lot of people working on it, the environmental damage would be catastrophic. They would, the resources will be depleted eventually, so very fast. In the environmental aspect, so by carrying the capacity, so they promote food farm education. So I don't know here in Taiwan, but in the Philippines, some of the farmers, we taught them how to till the land, sow the seeds, everything. So how properly be planted, because in the Philippines we have a lot of typhoons coming in. So probably it would be washed away at the typhoon came. So they promote an education there that even though we had some typhoon coming, it would not be destroyed with the land. So that's one thing that maybe we can learn from it. So the internal circulation of the ecological balance system. So promote reduced plastic packaging and promotion of local stakeholders. So maybe local companies or maybe local people, they can build their company there. Then using their knowledge in farming or whatever that they can use it as sustainable growth by local aspect. And the other thing is the social aspects, is a form of community organization. During this study, they don't have any kind of community organization in Wanshan Township. So the only thing there is like the old people, so they don't have any youth, like the age group with us. So the study they made is the youngest people there is around like 30 years old and above. So they don't see a lot of younger people there. And revitalize local industry, so contact local stakeholders and sustainable to attract youth. So in short, to have the balance with Taiwan, so we need to have a hometown enterprise investment. So we need to have investment here in a certain community. We need to import a lot of technology, and we need to ask the government as well. So we have the industry, government, university, research needs to join. Like for example, our school, we have the fishing farm in Vivian. And the other one is to integrate departmental revitalization resource. We have a lot of resources, but we don't know how to use it. So that's one thing that we need to integrate and establish brand marketing. And that's one most important thing that we need to. It's not that we do not need to attract people, but we need the people itself to build something from it. So that's how we need the balance in Taiwan too. Yeah.
So they're not doing any local revitalization.
They don't have,
Not yet.
but not yet, but they have a study there that, like they compare a lot other townships. Guangshan Township has a lot of more resources.
Okay, you mean
Yeah.
natural
That's
resources?
natural resources.
How about the university in Taichung? I think they're Taichung University. They're not cooperating with the university. Okay, could you go back to the previous one, the other one? Yeah, this one. I like them to read this carefully so that I like them to raise questions. And if you can answer questions, okay then. If you cannot, then we try to answer questions by ourselves. So I'd like you to know, because he spoke very fast, and I think that's all the important message there, important information there. So why don't you just take a look at this slide again, read the slide, and then ask one question. Maybe Chris can answer a question, or maybe we can all try to figure out the answer, okay? So let's just read the slide and then raise one question. What question do you have? Okay, after reading this, just read carefully.
And I think apparently some of the township here in Taiwan, they don't have any access to education, in farming education.
Really?
I don't know.
In farming education? I mean, when you say in farming education, you mean how to grow
Yeah.
things on the farm.
Like, we have
Yes.
this kind of technology right now, but some of them they
Right.
don't use it.
The local farmers probably are still using the traditional ways. Right, yes. I think you're right.
But some of the farmers they said that the traditional is more effective than the
Yeah,
technology.
they believe what their ancestors or their grandparents, their parents say about growing.
So it's kind of contradicting, but at the same time, there's a possibility or there's opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Chris just mentioned one thing that's very important. That maybe I don't know about this. I think we do have some farming departments in the universities, like 农业系, where they may have different names now. Because if you talk about agriculture department, no students would like to be enrolled because they don't want to go to the farm and work there. So I think they kind of changed the name of the departments. But I do think that there are several departments in some universities. But after 4 years of training, still the university, the undergraduate students don't go to the farm and work there. So, so in some cases or in most cases, it's still the farmers. They are using their traditional ways or what their parents told them to grow either rice or wheat or anything on the farm. So they're just used to traditional ways. But then the university are thinking of some new technology, but then I think it needs some more closer collaboration between the university and also the farmers. Okay, so why don't you give some question, raise some question, and if Chris can, then he would answer it, or we can try to come up with the answer together. So Kevin, why don't we start with you? What's your question? Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask about the non-toxic agriculture. What's the example of like the non-toxic agriculture?
Yeah.
Usually, right, before in creating non-toxic agriculture, we use pesticides. You know, pesticides that
杀虫剂 pesticide.
yeah, to prevent insects eating their crops. So I think right now they have this non-toxic agent that they use that they won't harm the crops, but the pest or the insects will not destroy the crops as well.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Go
How
ahead.
do you select one side
Why?
is
Why
for
was
you
that?
protection cost?
Okay. So, why I chose Wanshan? Because most of the township has their own community, but this one doesn't have their own. They haven't studied any regional revitalization because they have this a lot of resources, but they don't know how to use the resources. So that's why I chose Wanshan.
Okay. So yeah. 就是虽然关山有很多自然资源，可是他们还没有开始做地当创生 so that's why he chose this special area. And then yeah, if you think of Guanshan, probably you know about it because usually we'll go there and as a tourist spot. But then actually, maybe there are old farmers there mostly. And then about the non-toxic agricultural, and then that is the same with the fishery, especially the agriculture here in the Pingdong County. Like they are also trying to use more environment-friendly ways to feed the fish, to raise the fish, and so that can be that can do good to the environment. And then I think there are also this is also something that the farmers should think about. So you are shooting video, so let's just go here. Start here. Hongqi, what's your question? After reading this slide, did you come up with the solution or you found it from internet?
It's from the
Internet. Okay, so these are some suggestions from maybe some experts. They are saying that, oh, we probably can do this and do that in the Guanshan area. So do you have any questions about this?第一个是鼓励这个不要用有毒的物质的农业嘛，有序农业。第二个是尽量减少这个塑胶包装。第三个是试着要这个提振他们的农业教育专业农业教育。第四个是这个我等一下可以问产生不同的平台。最后是鼓励年轻人回乡。Any question? Pass to 可汗 You think about it 空气需要比较长思考时间，如果没关系，每次都有很好的论点。先可汗先开始。Any question, or you prefer to give your own thoughts? That will do. 就是如果你想不出问题，你想要自己分享一些想法也是 OK 的。
我没想法
好，要吗？
什么都没有啊。
人家讲的那么辛苦。
讲得很好，所以我没问题。
不行。If he has presented a very good speech, then you definitely will have something to respond to his speech. I do have a question before he mentioned this. What do you mean by saying that they should create various platforms? What are these platforms about?
So by using the internet, they can promote a lot of things like their agricultural side. Because I've seen a lot of advertisements that they use the internet by creating a land or buying a land,
Okay.
or maybe just donating some money to have the seeds or crops to be there.
Okay. So the platform will be using the internet as a tool,
Yeah,
so that they can have more interaction.
yes,
Okay, good.
问题是减少这个塑料包装对这个地方带什么影响？有什么好处的？
用英文讲。
想知道。
可以啊，减少塑料包装英文层那边，就说 What are the good sides？ 所以
好，再讲一次。
Yeah. What are the good sides or what are the benefits? Benefit 就是利益好处嘛，把塑料减少。
What are the benefit of use less plastic?
Yeah. So the benefit of using less plastic is for the the environmental side, because right now we have a lot of garbage piling up around the world. Most of the countries is they importing their garbage to another country. So by using less plastic is by helping the environment or conserving the environment or even protecting the environment itself from harms of our products by using plastics.
Right. Actually, I would like to follow up. I had this question too, that why particularly saying that they need to have less plastic package? Why in this area? I mean, when we talk about some other examples, we didn't really see they just focus so much on this, but then why in one side particularly?
Well, actually, I mean, this one also is quite a problem in all places. Like, for example, the case of a while ago in the Hot Air Balloon Festival. So it's not that you cannot see any garbage piling up everywhere, right? So it's a small thing that you cannot see. So that's why most of the people they blindside their eyes so that they cannot see this as a factor that they can deal it as a problem.
Okay. So this is like a more common idea or concept
Yes.
that need to be promoted again and again.
Yes.
So whenever we talk about the case, and then this will be something that we need to
Yes.
focus on.
Yeah, because like if we attract tourists, they don't sometimes foreigners, they don't know how to put their trash, to separate the trash. I really hate when I see a foreigner. Even like for me as a Filipino, when I see other Filipinos, they don't know how to separate their trash from the recycle and everything. It gets on my nerves, and this is why I
Okay,
do this.
okay, right. So I think in Taiwan we're doing a very good job separating the garbage. I think what is there is really true. Like if you go to some other countries, you probably will surprised to see that they do not pay so much attention to the garbage separation. Like they just throw everything together. But then in Taiwan, really stress a lot, and I think it has been very successful. Okay, I think you're ready.
What's special about this rice? And
What's special about the rice?
and did you eat that?
Did you ever eat the Guansan rice?
No, I haven't tried it, but actually, one thing, the land there, when I saw it, is because it's surrounded with. Oh wait, let me show you the map. Because it's quite optimal. You can see it is near in the river
Near the river.
and also near the mountains. So, like if there's a typhoon, the mountains would block the typhoon. They would be lessened to the
So
destruction.
they
of the-
won't do harm to the farm.
Yeah, and
Okay.
there's a flow of river here, so that or maybe some garbage or something there in the top side of the mountain. You just go down directly to the river.
Okay, so there may be some pollution in the river?
Yes, so that's it's like maybe it's easy for them
Yeah.
to have to crops their growing.
Okay. Okay. So Guansan, I think Guansan is a particular place because they have the mountain to shade the farm from the influence of typhoons or some strong winds. And then also there's river alongside, and then that will provide a lot of water resource. So maybe that's why Guansan rice is so famous. So since you asked the question,
It's famous. I don't know if the
Guansan,
rice.
I think Guansan rice is famous, right? Is it? Do you think? Guanshan rice, is it famous? Guanshan mi ah? Shishan mi. Guanshan, is it? Yeah. Have you ever eaten Guanshan rice? No, not really. Okay. 好，燕文 I think you wanna turn around, shoot the video. Okay. So what's your question? Yeah, the microphone, please.
Can you back to the slide?
Go back to the slide.
And I want to say that in Pingdong we have the Eagle Rabbit, and they promoted they don't have using the text in to agriculture. So in Guanshan, how they promotion they don't use the text.
Yeah, how do they promote? Like
For-
in our project in Pingdong, we are always promoting, saying that we're not using any chemicals for our fish, feeding the fish. So in Guanshan area, how do the farmers do that? Do they do anything that to show they are not using the toxic or the pesticides when they are
Good question,
growing?
but I don't have the answer.
They haven't done it
Yeah,
yet.
they don't have it done.
Actually, if you look at the first sentence here, this is about the interviews, in-depth, and case studies. So actually, these are done by some researchers or scholars. They talk with the people there, and then also they do some studies. They are suggesting this could be the solutions, but it doesn't mean that they are already doing this. The experts are suggesting that we can do this in Guanshan area, but then maybe they haven't started yet.
Because I believe most of the crops right now, they still use the toxic products because it's more effective.
Yeah, it is very effective.
But at the same side,